with the after party theme too, I was always intrigued as to. So this is '97. Most of the time, I would say the remixes did not appear on the album.
Right.
So why did yours appear on Many Faces?
Because it sounded like a different song. Because even though it took an element, which was the pieces of a dream, zig zig zig, it took that element. Everything else was different. You know what I'm saying? Nasheem actually did that track. You know what I mean? And he made it sound like a whole nother song. Like again, we took a couple elements. We get down. We took that part, but even the hook before that was different. You know what I'm saying? So we felt like, we could throw this on here, call it the theme remix, which it really was a remix. With Bust on it, he took it to another level, and yeah, it sounded like a whole different song.
Well, there it is.
Yeah.
And then as things were going, like now you have achieved your dream, or at least part of your dream.
Mhm.
What was it like hitting the road for something that you had been working on for so long? How did that, like, what happened to you mentally? Were like, man, I'm actually doing what I dreamt of all this time.
Man, I was having so much fun out there, man. It was like I wasn't even the star, or rap star. I wasn't even that. Like I've always been a man amongst the people. So I'm no bodyguards, just me and my crew. Um, no extra security. Like I just didn't carry my life like that. So it was just like I'm out on the road, just doing what I love to do, and I'm just getting love from people. You know what I'm saying? Like if there was hate, it was from a distance. You know what I'm saying? Like because our vibe was never like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and at least I tried my best to make sure that the people that I had around me wasn't like that, because we don't want to attract that kind of drama. And I think my approach to the game was a little different than what people were accustomed to. And I'm talking about people inside of the business. You know what I'm saying? It's like Trey's not really, he's doing this thing differently. You know what I'm saying? Like we're so accustomed to doing this, and this, and having things, being perceived like that, where him and his people, they don't do that. So I was just listen, man, I was having a ball living out my dream. Now, to the detriment of that, not saying that I didn't go out and just was blowing money. I was definitely able to make the 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 amount of money that I was getting. I was able to make it stretch for a good period of time, but I did not capitalize on where it could have went. You see what I'm saying? I remember I had a conversation with Dame Dash, and we were talking, and this is when he had an office up at Def Jam, and he was like, "Yo, Trey, what's going on?" Because I was talking about getting management, like different management. And he was like, "Yo, Trey, what's going on, man?" He's like, "Yo, what is Mark doing?" And I was like, "What you mean?" And this was at the time that I was the only one rocking like the crazy braids, you know what I'm saying? Like getting things spelled out in my hair. He was like, "You should be on every hair magazine in the country." You know what I'm saying? In every hair magazine in the country, black hair magazine in the country. And when he said it, it didn't really hit me until I walked out of the office and I said, damn, he's right. You know what I'm saying? Like these are the things that I did not capitalize on at the height of my career. You know what I'm saying? And so those are the things, had I, had more business sense or been more business savvy at that particular time, though that if I do have a regret, those are the things that I regret. Not being able to take where I was for that short period of time and catapulted out of here where, maybe we don't go to law school, or maybe, what I'm saying, we're not, back at square one and all this other stuff. But again, I think things happen the way they're supposed to happen. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, as I look back on it, man, it was like that was a layup. Stuff like that, that's a layup.
There it is. So Tracey Lee, man, we appreciate you coming through. Unique access.
We could talk a little more. We could talk a little
Oh,
more.
well, I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
saw it was 9:30. I knew
I
you.
know. Yeah, we can go about 15 more minutes. Yeah, let's
Okay,
run.
cool. All right. So obviously I'll edit that up a little bit. So speaking of law school, then you ended up going to Southern university. But
Yes.
was that after you left Universal, or was
Yes.
that like what's the chronology? You started working on the second album and it got shelved. Like what was happening in that time period?
All right, so the height of the theme or the steam of the theme, it started to dissipate at the end of '97, and so we at the top of '98 trying to figure some things out. What's the next move? But things are changing in the culture too. Things are changing musically too. You know what I'm saying? When you start talking about Cash Money coming in, and you start talking about Nelly coming in, and then by Storm, the label that I was on, they had left and went and did a deal with LaFace, but Universal decided to keep me. So I'm kind of getting lost in the sauce in the building. You know what I mean? Didn't really have a voice in there. I was, pretty much attending the meetings, and that was kind of frowned upon. You know what I'm saying? Like usually artists don't do that, but this is my career. I felt like I had to. So, um, it's kind of like I got lost. Even though they gave me a budget, I kind of got lost. But Live in the 215, we had a young Kanye West on that album. The album is dope. I had a young Kanye West on it. I had Corrupt on it. I had Buckshot on the album. I had Black Rob on the album. D Dot and Ron and bag in their bag of tricks again, and still my crew. We producing records, and it was a dope. It's a dope. Live in the 215 is a dope album. But because we didn't have the support in the building, and then after we went on the road with Ram Squad, did a little promo, you know, thing with them. Um, it basically got shelved because we couldn't get the people that we needed to get in the building behind it. And so that left me with, this is around 2001, trying to figure out what we're going to do. So, wind up going back home to my mom's crib, stayed there for 3 months. She was like, nah, you got to leave. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care where you go, but you got to get up out of here. So then I moved down to Atlanta with my brother, and we got an apartment. And then he wound up going to grad school. So now I'm down there, and I'm with a young lady at the time. And still just trying to figure it out. I made a couple independent records. One record called uh, Ready, Willing, and Able that actually Marlon Wayans had financed. Uh, we put that out as a single. And surprisingly, there are people to this day that know about that record. Like this cat that I know in Detroit, he got serviced that record, and he was like, "Yo, I remember that Ready Willing." I was like, "Word, you remember that?" So but it wasn't enough. And like I said, things had started changing, man. Sounds started changing. But we still continue to make records, but now the money starts dwindling. So now it's like, all right, how do we figure this out? And what's the next pivot? And so that's when I got down. I tell the story all the time because this is my testimony. I got down to my last $7, and then I had to figure out, okay, what we're gonna do with the $7. I can go get a meal, but then that's it. What is that gonna do? So I gave it to God. You know what I'm saying? I went to church, put it in the plate, and just said, I've exhausted all my. I need to figure. I can't figure it out no more. So here. So then a week after that, I get a call from Wayne Barrow, who is the president of Boston, who's Mark's cousin, and he says, "Yo, Universal has a publishing check for you, but they don't know where to mail it. So if you give such and such a call, here's the number. Give me your address. They'll send it right over." So then a week from when I made that call, I get a check for $7,000 in the mail. And a week after that, I get another check for $57,000 in the mail. So now it's like, man, if that ain't God, I don't know what is. You know what I'm saying? That's why I don't really get into discussions about, that with people because I know my situation and that's what it is. Um, but I still have to make a move. And so the other epiphany is, you know, you wouldn't have signed that deal that you signed knowing what you know right now. You wouldn't have gotten a regular attorney. You would have hired an entertainment attorney to negotiate your initial deal. Um, so the natural progression was to, you know, right the wrong, do for not only yourself but for others that are coming up in the game that wasn't done for you. So go to law school. start from the basics, and not only get the knowledge, but then also establish your brand. You know what I mean? And the knowledge is there, and then the brand of being the only MC from a major label to now being an attorney. You know what I'm saying? It speaks volumes now, because now I can open up different doors. You know what I'm saying? I can, and I'm looked upon in a different way, and not just a rapper. You know what I'm saying? So that's what happened from 2001 to 2003. Went to law school, graduated from Southern University Law Center in 2006. Got my JD in 2006, passed the bar in 2007, and been a licensed attorney for the last 13 years.
Well, congratulations on that, man. That's huge. And what made you were in Atlanta, you could have gone to Clark, you could have gone to different places. What made you pick Southern?
Oh man, I have roots there. I got family there. I used to live in New Orleans when I was 8. My mom moved us there when I was 7 until I was 10. New Orleans for 2 years and then Baton Rouge for a year. So I was familiar with it. I always loved the culture of Louisiana. It's like, it's not like being in anywhere in the United States. It feels like you're just somewhere else. So the food is excellent. At the time, I'm married now, but the women were gorgeous. So it was just like, yeah, let's go down there. You know what I'm saying?
And then how did you start? Explain like what portion of the law you practice and how you started getting clients and who they were early on.
Oh, okay. So, the natural thing was, okay, when you go to law school, you learn all of it: criminal, corporate, family, all of it. But the natural thing for me once I got out was to specialize in entertainment, because that's where I came from. That's where my roots are. And so since then, once I graduated, I've been fortunate enough to work for, should I say, the likes of Solange Knowles and Kelly Rowland, and a company that represented Kobe Bryant, DJ Young Guru, Eric Roberson, Algebra Blessed. I mean, even now, I did some paperwork for D.O.C, and other young producers that are coming up in the game that are on some pretty prominent projects. R.J. Payne. So yeah, man, it's but my representation, I would say, is a little different than the average lawyer, because they know I still get busy on the mic, and they know that I know the ins and outs on both sides. You know what I'm saying? So, my natural thing is I'm always going to be pro artist. You know what I mean? Because I'm an artist myself, and I come from that stock and from those roots. So yeah, man, it's been a hell of a journey, and it continues to be.
So when you were in law school going through the process, how did you lose, or what happened to your love of writing and love of making music? How did
Oh
that?
no! I would slip that in between my studies, man. I had a Pro Tools set up. You know what I mean? My mic was in the closet. I had what I'm saying, the Apple, the laptop. You know what I'm saying? The MacBook. I think, was it called MacBook? I think it was just the Apple lap. It might have been a Mac. Yeah, it was the first. I had like one of the first MacBooks. So I'm in between, studying cases and all that. I'm spitting bars. So it was like, we never lost a step. You know what I'm saying? It's just a love for the culture. We are the culture, so it never leaves. You know what I mean? It'll always be here as long as I'm able to speak. You know what I'm saying? As long as I have a voice, I will spit. Like, I could be 100. I'm gonna still be spitting. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is just what we are. So I never stop. Never stop.
Okay. And then as you were getting the clients, how did the word of mouth work for you, as far as people not just dismissing you because you were a rapper or you were a known rapper? How did that work to where people were like, "Oh man, he could really do a good job for me"?
I mean, I think it was the people that I aligned myself with. Invisible Productions was really the first company. They're based out of LA. They are the ones that really kind of gave me my shot first. You know what I'm saying? And had me come on board with them, because they are the ones that got the clients, and then I worked all the paperwork out for their clients. And and I think it came from there. But I think, again, this is 13 years since I've been a barred attorney. It's still a lot of people that don't know. Like, this story has never really been brought to the fourth, and I'm not just saying it because it's me, but this is such an anomaly. Like, it would appear to me that this would be something that you would blow out just as much as you blew out, the latest dance, or, the latest risque video. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is monumental for the culture, but it's still a lot of people that don't know. You know what I mean? It's still a lot of people that have no idea. And as the younger cats come up in the game, there are people that are the generation probably below me, not the youngins, but the generation below me that were like in junior high at the time. They seem to know. You know what I'm saying? Though that's the demo that probably I influence more than even my peers, because they are now, your mid to late 30s, and they are the ones that say, hey man, I was in the 6th grade when I heard Many Faces, da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are the ones that know. So those are the ones that come up to me and approach me, not only to do records, but also did the research on the fact that I'm a lawyer. You know what I mean? But on a grand scale and industry insiders and all that, I think a lot of them know, but a lot of them won't. A lot of them won't recognize in a grandiose manner like I think they should. But maybe that's my ego. I'm not sure. But it just seems like this story is a layup. You know what I'm saying? But in due time, this is a marathon. It's a marathon.
Yes, it is. And we'll have to come back for part 2, Tracey Lee, man.
Yes, absolutely.
There's a lot of other stuff about Many Faces and your other projects I still want to ask you. So we'll get to that.
We definitely got to do a part 2. Absolutely. See, and I'm glad that we stopping it here, because then it gives us something else to chew on for the next one. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, yeah, Tracey Lee, appreciate you coming through to Unique Access, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Be sure to check out The History of Gangster Rap by Soren Baker. He's official.
History of Gangster Rap features exclusive interviews with Ice-T, Snoop Dogg, MC Ren, the D.O.C, and dozens of others. The History of Gangster Rap, a definitive look at how Los Angeles changed rap forever.
In Los Angeles, the streets definitely set the tone of the hip-hop music.
At 19, I got a $50,000 car.
My whole angle always was, I'll be street, but I will always tell you the horrors that go along with this life.
There will be penalties and casualties for just wearing the wrong color in somebody's neighborhood.
And once gangster rap made it from the streets to the TV, the genre exploded.
With Fab 5 on Yo MTV back with NWA.
Yo MTV, it just catapulted us from being local heroes to national gangbang rappers.
The History of Gangster Rap discusses it all from 1980 up till today.
It's always gonna be shit happening in the streets. You know what I mean? So it's always gonna be something to talk about.
The History of Gangster Rap in stores now.